Was 31st in completion percentage, 31st in adjusted QBR, 32nd in passer rating, and he threw 6 interceptions so far against 2 touchdowns. So however you look at it, he's terrible and this offense is terrible. All right, welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barber, where we talk NFL and college, and today we're talking the Cleveland Browns, so that's why they get the shirt, because Dillon Gabriel's been named the starter, and he's going to make this start in, London against the Vikings. So here we go. Finally, they've made the decision to get rid of the old, out with the old, in with the new. Joe Flacco was never the answer. I don't know why coaches do this. I mean, same with Russell Wilson. They waited just long enough to make... Both of these teams have left the old guy in just long enough to make the probability of getting into the playoffs almost non-existent. But, stranger things have happened, so we'll see what happens here. The last of the old guard that has to go is Rodgers, but maybe Rodgers will play well enough to just keep the Steelers lingering right at the cusp of the playoffs for this season. I'm still not convinced about Rodgers. But anyways, we're talking about the Browns, and good for the Browns for making this move. Now there's some hope. It can't get worse. There's no way it could possibly get worse. This offense was 26th overall in total yards, but it was 31st in scoring. The only offense worse in scoring was Tennessee, which is dreadful if you paid attention at all to Tennessee this year. I don't know why you would, but they're dead last. But then Flacco himself, here I got some statistics for you here. Flacco was 31st in completion percentage, 31st in adjusted QBR, 32nd in passer rating, and he threw 6 interceptions so far against 2 touchdowns. So however you look at it, he's terrible and this offense is terrible. And the even more troubling thing is they're second in total pass attempts. So it's not like this is a run-heavy offense where his influence on the offense is minimal. The only team that throws the ball more than them is the Cowboys. So that's not good when you were 31st in completion percentage and you pass the ball more than anyone. So this offense was never getting anywhere with Flacco, and it's obvious when you watch them. And these old guys, him and Wilson specifically so far this year, not Rodgers. We'll give Rodgers a little bit of credit for how he's playing, but these two, Flacco will just throw the ball up to avoid being hit. And in the last game, there was one obvious interception where he just threw it up in the air. It looked like the sort of pass you would throw out of bounds, like just get it out, just get out of your hands. But he threw it inbounds. He just lobbed it up in the air, and someone easily picked it off. And it's just so clear that he doesn't want to get hit. He's not going to extend the play. He's just too slow, and he'd just rather not get hit. And so, and even as big of a guy as he is, as soon as the pocket collapses, he just crumbles and just wants to protect his body. He's not going to fight for yards. He's not going to extend the play. He's not going to put it on the line the way you expect an NFL player to do to try to make the play and win the game. Like, it's just, the old guys just don't have that anymore. Wilson is the same thing. He would just throw the ball up in the air to avoid getting hit and just constantly throw interceptions. I mean, the only person who's thrown more picks is Geno Smith, and he's been a complete disaster in Las Vegas. So, I mean, at this rate, Flacco's on pace for 25 interceptions. Like, and some of them are just bad decisions, and some of them okay, it's in the course of the game, a defense might make a good play, but really 6 picks in 4 games, that's unsustainable. You can't keep doing that. So, and it's obvious he's getting the ball out of his hands to avoid getting hit. So his completion percentage is just terrible for that reason. So sometimes he's throwing the ball for no other reason than to protect himself, right? So this had to happen. It doesn't matter how Gabriel performs because it can't possibly get worse than this. Like I said, he's 32nd in passer rating. That's the worst in the whole league. So, all right. So if Gabriel's also the worst in the whole league, okay, so nothing's changed. But at least there's some hope. With the young guy, there might be some hope. Here, there's absolutely no hope. You can't convince me that there's a single Cleveland fan who was thrilled about rolling out the retread Flacco all over again and let's see what we're headed into the future with Flacco. Oh, Gabriel or Sanders is going to learn from this guy. Learn what? Learn how to throw the game away on picks? Like, learn how to be the worst passer in the game? Like, what are you learning from this guy? Again, I keep hearing these stories of, oh, you're going to learn from that guy. Okay, so maybe maybe you follow his lead on how to be a professional, how to show up, how to go to meetings, like all of the behind the scenes stuff. But when you're standing on the sidelines watching this guy throw the game away, it's like that must be super frustrating for those players. Again, it's not like when Rodgers sat behind Favre. You're sitting behind an MVP player who's still playing at an MVP level, or to stay with the Packers, Jordan Love sitting behind Rodgers, who's playing at an MVP level while you're on the team watching an MVP do it. Here, you're watching old retreads on their third or fourth time around team who are just hanging on, and maybe the head office and the coaches are doing this to try to save their jobs, but it's clearly not working because they're just losing games. And the one game they did win was on an utterly improbable blocked kick. Like, it was just, this team is going nowhere with Flacco, and it's so obvious. So, okay, so here we are. We're 1-3, so the chance of the playoffs are very, very slim. But, next game is against the Vikings. Whether it's McCarthy or Wentz, you probably have a fighting chance there because either of those guys are beatable. Then your next game is the Steelers. Okay, we're talking about old man Rodgers, but your defense is good enough to give Rodgers some serious problems here. Oh, that's another thing. This offense, this dreadful offense, is paired with one of the best defenses in the league. Well, it's actually statistically the best as far as giving up yards, but that actually is an artifact of how terrible the Cleveland offense is, because Cleveland was turning the ball over so frequently and deep in their own zone that many of the touchdown drives, for example, the Ravens or the Lions had in those blowout wins, were 5 yards, 12 yards, 20 yards, because Cleveland kept giving them the ball with short fields. So the Cleveland defense, even if they only gave up 10 yards for a touchdown, but okay, that sounds great. You only gave up 10 yards, but it was still a touchdown. So I think if you force a team to drive the field against the Cleveland defense, it's still going to show up as one of the best defenses. But so far, this offense is so horrifically bad and turns the ball over so frequently. You're just putting your defense in a compromised position where they're defending short fields. So I mean, I think it's just they passed the eye test. The Cleveland defense is really good, but this offense is so awful. Anyways, so back to the schedule here. Where are we headed here with Gabriel? I don't think the Vikings QB situation's all that great. Whether it's McCarthy or Wentz, I think you can beat them. I would obviously Steelers has the edge. Rodgers is playing okay right now, but your defense can keep you in any of these games as long as you just don't keep handing the ball back to their team. Next game, the Dolphins. All right, so they just lost Tyreek Hill for the season, so their best weapon is gone. And the Dolphins are a bit of a shaky organization right now. So it's these are doable games here. The Patriots, I know Drake May's looking pretty good, but again, he's just a second-year starter. That team's got a lot of work to do to become a great team. So right now they're gettable. Let's say they're gettable. Then your next game's the Jets. The Jets are terrible. Like, they're a gettable team too. Then the Ravens. Okay, so this is apparently a good team that can't win. And at that point of the season, we have no idea if Jackson's going to be healthy or not. We'll assume he is, and we'll assume that's a loss. But then after that's the Raiders. The Raiders are a train wreck. I mean, Joe Flacco, the only person who's thrown more picks than him is Geno Smith, so that's a gettable game. Then the 49ers. Okay, we don't know if Brock Purdy or Mac Jones will be healthy by that game. They don't have Bosa anymore. Ricky Pearsall just got hurt, so many pieces of the 49ers team are injured. We don't even know if Kittle will be back by then. I guess they're expecting him to be. So yeah, you probably, if some of those pieces are healthy, you obviously put the Niners, as the obvious favorite in that game. But then you got the Titans. That's the only team actually worse than the Browns. So that's a gettable game. And however many games that is, 6 or 7 games more, 8 or 9 games more development for Cam Ward. I don't think he's going to be any better than Gabriel. I mean, they're both rookies. They're both just figuring it out. So, that game is probably and you have the better defense. So we'll see. I think that's a gettable game. Then you've got the Bears. Okay. Caleb Williams is progressing along, but that's by no means a buttoned up team where you couldn't get them. And then it gets a little tough. The Bills show up. You probably can't beat the Bills. Then it's the Steelers, and then you finish the season with the Bengals. So you can, if Gabriel's not a complete disaster, you can find 5 or 6 wins in here anyways, or at least potential wins, like where you wouldn't look silly picking them to at least be competitive. So, I mean, I don't think they can make the playoffs. It's too late now. Like 3-1, or 1-3. I think the probability is like 10% or something. It's not good. It's not good once you already have 3 losses here in the first 4 games. No matter how you arrive at them, I know 0-3, and then having the 4th game as the win. I don't know why that one's worse, but that's worse, and the probability there is like less than 2%. So the fact that the first win came at game number 3, and then they lost 4, I don't think it makes a huge difference. So the playoffs are probably off the table. Now it's just, let's see what Gabriel has, because Flacco's not the future. We know that. It's either Gabriel, Sanders, or somebody else, but it's the only thing we know for sure. It's not Flacco. So let's just get on. Let's step into 2025 here and see what we got. At least it makes them entertaining. If it's ugly, okay, well, it's already ugly, but at least there's some hope to cling to here. And we'll see. Now it's between him and or however long Gabriel lasts. If he looks good, he stays. If not, perhaps Sanders goes in later. Who knows? But good riddance to Flacco. We just don't need to be watching retread the old guard who just can't do it anymore. Like no one wants to watch that. And in the end, football's an entertainment product, at least from the fans' perspective. We want to be entertained, and part of the entertainment is the hope of the future. And Flacco and the old guys do not represent the future; they represent the past. All right, well, that's all I got for this one. It's just want to drop a little note here about my excitement for it. I hope Cleveland fans are excited, and it just sucks that they linger on the old guy just long enough to put the playoffs essentially statistically out of reach. But now Cleveland's going to be really interesting to watch, at least for me. So anyways, I appreciate you checking out the channel. I know it's small. We just started it last year. If you want to support us, a like and a subscribe goes a long way. I hate asking for it, but it's just kind of how this stuff goes. All right, we'll catch you later.